Michael, 4 months after announcing your retirement from the pitch, you've just been signed up as an ambassador to Kipco British Champion Series. How excited are you for this new role?
Yeah, really excited. I mean, when I started thinking about retirement, I thought I've got to put things in place that are going to, keep me occupied, keep me entertained, and do things that I'm passionate about. Football is one, and racing is the other. So I think I've sorted myself out off the pitch in terms of football. I'm going to be doing some commentary and some, looking after some younger players as well. But on the racing side, then, as everyone knows, I've got my own yard, and to sign up to be part of the Champion Series is also an exciting move, and I'm really looking forward to it.
And in terms of the role for Champion Series, how do you see this developing, or can you just give us maybe a little bit more information about how what the role will entail?
Well, yeah, I think it's pretty good in many ways, in terms of a lot of people, when they sign up to a deal, then it's just to lend your face to something in return for something else, whereas this is something where I'm passionate about horse racing. I'm passionate about trying to get a younger audience or more people involved in the sport, and for the benefit of everyone, really, because, as I say, I'm a keen enthusiast of racing, and it's such a good sport that we're all lucky to be a part of. So it's a long process. I think the Racing for Change and all the powers that be do a great job in promoting the sport, and it's not easy, because it's not something you can just go and, unlike football, pick up a football and go and play. I mean, horse riding and horse racing is slightly different, so it's got to be treated in that way. But it's certainly a great sport that a lot of people have been brought into, and I'm certainly looking forward to the challenge of enticing more people into the game.
And you've played for some of the biggest football clubs in the world, the likes of Man United, Liverpool, Real Madrid. Do you think that racing can learn a lot from those big clubs and the football world in general?
Well, I think it'd be foolish to think that because football attracts a certain crowd, then racing would or should be able to as well. But there are certain things that I suppose that do flip over. Racing has got a lot of facets to it. I mean, you're there for 3 or 4 hours of an afternoon, and there's, especially in this day and age, there's a lot of things that you can do at a racetrack. It's about horses, but it's also about socialising, meeting friends, other activities that the racecourses can put on. Some bands play after racing nowadays, and all kinds of things. So, it's an entertainment sport. It's something that you go for a nice day out, and lots of people go to the races for lots of different reasons. And but what we've got to do is, obviously, once people go through that door, to try to make them come back.
Yeah, of course. And as you mentioned, you've got quite heavy links now with racing. You've got your own string of horses. You co-own Tom Dascombe's yard as well. How did you first get into racing, and how's that interest developed?
Well, I think my father was where my first sort of interest in racing came from. He used to put a 50p bet on 3 horses every Saturday. Would be his regular bet, and after watching him for a few weeks and months, he used to let me pick one of the horses for him. So I think that's how it first started, and then it's just gradually snowballed from then, culminating in me buying a couple of horses when I was 18 to be trained by John Gosden, and then, as you say, it's spiralled now into owning a fantastic facility up in Cheshire. We train just over 90 horses, obviously employ Tom Dascombe to train our horses for us, and got many owners that share my passion, and we all have a great time together.
And I think you've done quite a good job of recruiting a few of the football lads into ownership as well.
Yeah, that's obviously quite helpful in terms of racing. I think it's important that we have sort of some big stars involved in racing. I think when the Queen's horse won at Royal Ascot, the pictures of the Queen getting excited went right the way around the world, and I think it was great for racing. And likewise, when you've got the likes of Wayne Rooney or Sir Alex Ferguson involved in horse racing, it can only be put a positive image on the game.
Of course. And one of your personal stable flag bearer, Brown Panther, is due to run in a British Champion Series race in the shape of the Artemis Goodwood Cup next week. You must have been pleased with his successful return at Pontefract last month.
Yeah, that's right. We've obviously we've always held him in high regard. He was second in the English ledger and third by about 2 inches in the Irish ledger. And then to make his comeback winning the listed race at Pontefract quite convincingly was job well done, really. So now we're stepping him back up into the big league again. We always had an autumn campaign in mind for him because he probably handles a bit of juice in the ground, and then further afield we might be looking at targets abroad as well. So it's always good having a good horse. There's so many exciting targets to aim at, and hopefully I can watch him a bit more this season.
And a possible target for him later on in the autumn might be the Long Distance Cup on British Champions Day. He could take on Estimate there, possibly take on the Queen's filly.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want to spoil any party, so we might no, but it's there's all kinds of targets. There's obviously the Goodwood Cup. That's our initial aim, and then we'll see how he comes out of that. And as you say, there's the race at Ascot in the Champion Series, or there's things like the Melbourne Cup, and then further afield there's Dubai and places like that. So a foreign campaign might be on the cards as well. But as we know with horses, first things first, and it looks like we're going to Goodwood. So fingers crossed for that.
That's good, exciting times. And Brown Panther's Royal Ascot win, that was a pretty emotional day. Just for comparative purposes, could you kind of maybe draw a comparison between how it felt to score that goal against Argentina in '98 to Brown Panther's Royal Ascot success?
Well, it's I mean, I suppose there are comparisons, but they're a bit different feeling as well. One is, I always felt in football that I never really used to get nervous because you feel as if you're half in control of what the outcome's going to be. You've got an influence on what's going to happen, whereas with horse racing, you're just a bystander and you've got no control whatsoever, and that's when you feel as if you've got no control. That's when I get nervous. So the relief when he came home and won was unbelievable. Whereas scoring a great goal is probably more of an adrenaline rush. So yeah, both great feelings and certainly ones that I'd hope to replicate in years to come.
Good to hear. And just finally, I think you've been quoted recently as saying that you'd like to actually hit the racetrack yourself and ride in a charity race. Is that still the case? And have you started any training for that yet?
It's still the case, yeah. I'm committed to doing the London Marathon and to riding in a charity race. So one, it'll keep the weight off me, and two, it'll hopefully raise some money for charity. But if we can get to there in one piece and everything else, I'm told it's it should be fun along the way, and we might do a bit of filming as well to capture some of the moments. It might be fun to see me starting from scratch to crossing the winning line. Hopefully not at the back.
Excellent. See, I'm sure they make plenty of headlines as well.
Well, hopefully it would be good for racing as well if we can portray the game in a good light, and that's certainly what we intend to do. So we'll see how it goes, and as I say, hopefully there's no bad falls along the way, and we can have a bit of fun doing it, and maybe produce a nice documentary that, as I say, that sheds or portrays racing in a really good light, which it deserves.